the 9-to-5 not doing it for you? Does it make you want to crawl into a hole and cry? Have you spent your entire life getting good grades because the 9-to-5 was sold as the happiness promised land to you, but now you're realizing it makes you feel like your soul is slowly being drained out of your body? Well, you are not alone. Hi, I have been there. What?
Hi, I have been there.
Hi, I've been there. In 2016, I was at the bottom of the corporate ladder looking up like, wait, whoa, I pumped the brakes. This is what I trained my whole life to climb. This kind of sucks. And suddenly I had a major, very alarming, very urgent concern. I might not actually like the 9-to-5 that I've been training my whole life to do, but if not the 9-to-5, then what? Are there good alternatives, like actually good, feasible, financially responsible alternatives? Spoiler, these cats. Spoiler, I found a few and I left the 9-to-5 in 2017. So if you are over the 9-to-5 but still want to live a good, happy, thriving existence on this earth, then let's chat about why the 9-to-5 is going out of style, 3 alternatives to working a 40-hour work week that I've personally tried. We'll talk about pros and cons, how realistic each one is, whether they'll make you enough money to actually live off of, how high risk they are, plus real examples and the ones that I would recommend to you depending on where you are in life and work experience. Hey, it's Dea, freelancer, digital business manager, most recently entrepreneur. And as always, you can find sections on the play bar below if you want to skip to a certain part of the video. Time is precious, take what you need, and if you want to watch this on 2x, I won't be offended in the least. Let's dive in. The kittens have their zoomies right now, and they are destroying this apartment. If you are over the 40-hour work week, you are right to be. It is on its way out for a lot of type of jobs. So the 40-hour work week was established at the peak of the Industrial Revolution, where workers physically clocked in, manually had to work the assembly line, and clocked out at the end of the day. Hours-based work had its place when most of our value to our capitalistic society was our time standing physically at the assembly line. But nowadays, so much of our work doesn't have to be manual anymore because of tech advancements replacing manual labor. And instead, what most of us have shifted or are shifting into is knowledge work, where our main capital is knowledge, not time. So it doesn't really make sense then to be paid for the time we physically sit at our laptops, but rather for the results, outcomes, the value we bring to the metaphorical table with our brains and our many, many knowledges. Cool. So now let's talk some alternatives. Okay, so I'm sure there are a million creative alternatives out there, but these are the 3 big categories that I've discovered in the past 6 years and that I've personally tried some degree of. Option 2 and 3 are the sexier, super overhyped options, but honestly, option 1 is my underrated, biased secret favorite. At the end of the video, I'm also going to rank the 3 options for risk, time to profitability, easiness to start, and potential for profit, so you have that full context too. Okay, let's get into it. If you lack work experience and don't know where to begin with all of this option 1 is what I recommend to you, and that is to offer a service of some kind on your own, aka become a freelancer of sorts. And I know the word freelancing comes with a lot of weird connotations. There are pros and cons to it as with anything, but for some of you, the pros are going to seriously outweigh the cons like they did for me. Pros, for the most part, you can do what you want when you want, so you can work from anywhere. You can also pick the types of clients that you want to work with. There's location independence, way more income potential and scaling possible if you are strategic about your work. You don't really need any initial startup capital. You can just start with a laptop and Wi-Fi. You don't need seed money or anything like that. Cons, takes a little bit of time to get going with it. As with anything, you have to find clients. There are no traditional safety nets like health insurance and pension plans. You have to figure out taxes. There may be income insecurity or instability, but I will say the cons that I've just listed, I have found ways to address each one of those to my own comfort level. And you know, the truth is there are millions of freelancers worldwide who make it work, and many of them are full-time freelancers. So this is not really a fringe work alternative anymore. If you want to make it work, you can, you will. I love being used as a springboard. If you want to make it work, you can and you will. I've got loads of free videos here on the tube that can help. And the best part is you can eventually structure your work as a freelancer to be results-based instead of hourly-based. So that it gets you away from a 9-to-5 time-heavy hours-based structure. So you can really design your own work schedule. I've been freelancing since 2016, and it's actually what got me out of the 9-to-5 path. And I will tell you that I am super risk-averse. I'm a big worrier, very type A, and I still made freelancing work for me, and it worked really well for me. So yes, it did take some time. I want to be transparent that it wasn't like overnight success. Nothing is ever going to be an overnight success. It did take me some time to get started. I started at $10 an hour, which was minimum wage at the time in Germany, so I was happy with that to start. Then I scaled slowly to $12 an hour, then $15 an hour, then $20 an hour, and a few years later, I hit 6 figures as a freelancer. So when I had no work experience in 2016, as a freelancer, I just offered my time with random admin tasks as a content assistant. Then I grew my experience slowly and promoted myself slowly into larger, non-time-based roles so that I could be charged for my knowledge work versus my time sitting at my laptop. So I honestly credit freelancing with getting me out of my 9-to-5 path, paying my bills and rent for years, and even setting me up for success to start a digital business later because I learned so much. So what can you offer as a freelancer? Really, anything you can do at a 9-to-5, you can offer as a freelancer. Anything that a small business might need help with at some point, you can do as a freelancer. So here are a few validated services that I know people are running profitable full-time freelancing businesses off of. Copywriter, copy editor, content manager, digital business manager, my personal and very biased favorite, project manager, systems manager, tech virtual assistant, email marketing manager, PR managers, graphic designers, accountants, general virtual assistants, website designing, social media manager, ads manager, marketing manager, community manager, podcast and YouTube managers. If there is a demand in the market, you can fill that as a freelancer. And as a freelancer, then you have way more flexibility to make the role what you want and your schedule what you want compared to a 9-to-5 more traditional setup. And of course, beyond freelancing, you can also scale services by evolving into an agency offering that service on a larger scale later down the line. So that's also an option that is service-based. So alternative 1 is to offer a service of some kind. Alternative 2 is to create a product. Either a physical product, and you can run an e-commerce shop selling physical stuff, so clothes, jewelry, pet toys, or a digital product like an online course, digital templates, planners, presets. So pros on this point: huge financial opportunity if done correctly, freedom to do literally whatever, whenever. Results can be completely detached from your time. It's very scalable, a lot of autonomy, almost too much autonomy. The cons are it's pretty high risk depending on the type of business and your experience level. It's very hard work in the beginning. It will probably require some sort of initial startup investment. It may take a while to be profitable. It will take time to build up, and it's not very beginner friendly in terms of knowledge required to be successful long term. So in 2020, I started a digital product business. I made an online course. This course has brought in over $400,000 since 2020. And before you get too excited, I know this is the sexy option, okay? There is a plethora of people saying, start drop shipping, make a course, start an Etsy shop, sell planners. It's so easy, 10K in 30 days. They are lying, okay? It is hard. It's so hard. My course business only did well because I spent 5 years freelancing and worked with tons of course creators and learned so much before I made my course and started my business. If I had started my business with no experience, it would have been close to impossible. It would have been so expensive. Every time I made a mistake, it would have been so frustrating. It's even now, after 5 years of experience, it's still hard, okay? So that's just some context. I'm endlessly grateful I created my course, but I can't ethically tell you it's easy and that you should do it if you have zero work experience. There are so many components to starting a product-based business: traffic, marketing, branding, fulfillment, customer service, operations, finance, copy, design, tech, so much. And yes, some of those things are required for freelancing as well, but on a much smaller and less complex scale. Examples of these, so many examples: physical products, any solid object under the sun can be sold, right? At some point, everything in this apartment was purchased by me. Furniture, home decor, a boba, matcha, even this apartment itself is a physical product people sell. Real estate, you can sell that and get off the 9-to-5 path too. So physical products, anything goes. Anything you can find an angle and competitive advantage on could be worth exploring and essentially starting that business and becoming, an entrepreneur. And as for digital products, there's so many types of digital products you can do. I actually made an entire video about the top 15 digital products that I like, ranked by difficulty, to start that business with examples. I'll link that below if that is something you are deeply interested in exploring and you have some experience and you want to get going with that. Digital products are also hard, but in my opinion, a little less hard than physical products because they tend to have better profit margins and thus it is a little less stressful, in my opinion. All right, alternative 3 is to build a personal brand, aka productize yourself. So all content creators, YouTubers, influencers are essentially personal brands that people buy into, right? So pros here are high loyalty from the audience, lots of revenue streams possible, affiliate marketing, brand sponsorships, ad revenue, merch, products of their own. It could be fun, fame, fortune, the whole enchilada, definitely all under the pros here. Cons, it takes a long time to build up. You need some sort of degree of authority or credibility. It takes a lot of upfront free work creating content. It's very high risk. Many people don't succeed. And it's hard to exit as essentially you are the product, so it's hard to remove yourself from the business. And potentially it can be hazardous to your mental health to feel like you are the product because then you start associating lots of stuff with feedback you might get about your product. Now, this is the one I'm least personally familiar with, but I have worked with a handful of larger personal brands clients as a freelancer, so I can share that it takes a long time. Certainty is low. The competition is pretty fierce as everyone is trying to be a personal brand nowadays. But obviously, once you get going, it can be amazing. And I would honestly say if you wanted to do this in this year, 2022, 2023, it would be smart to get pretty niche to start so that you can build a more memorable brand for the right person instead of going too broad, like general lifestyle content creation. I would also say if you super want to be a content creator, that's awesome. You should do that. But you can do that on the side of something that generates money in the meantime for you, whether that's freelancing or a 9-to-5 or a side hustle or something. I would do something cash generating on the side of that so that the pressure isn't on building a personal brand ASAP because it won't happen ASAP. And if you want to become an influencer, YouTuber, content creator, it is very, very, very smart to freelance for other influencers, YouTubers, content creators first, to learn from them, to see the behind the scenes of how they run their business, to see the behind the scenes of their mistakes made and their successes and how they run things, the operations and all of it, and then use that, learn from them, and then grow your own things later on, right? All right, cool. Now I'm gonna rate them on a few criteria. Do what you please with this totally subjective, my personal opinion, I don't want to fight about this, rating scale. Okay, now I have 2 choices for you. If you're curious about freelancing, click here to work out what you can get paid to do as a freelancer. If you're curious about digital products, click here to find 15 digital product ideas ranked by difficulty, including real examples. Pick the one that sounds more interesting to you. Yeah. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And Nutty says goodbye as well. Hi. You so cute.